Hello and welcome to this Jane's Weather Update. It is Friday the 14th of February. Happy Valentine's Day. We have a cyclone. It's category 5. It's up in the northwest. It'll be very interesting to see where the rain remains from that end up going. Here's a hot tip. It's down into the southwest. Over in the southeast, we're about to have a cold outbreak come through. So if you're inland particularly and you've had weeks and weeks of above average temperatures, that is about to come to an end. There's some cooler relief on the way. Heading up the east coast, we're finally seeing a break. Let's go right to the top. We're finally seeing a break up in the north there from the rain and the flooding that has been happening. And now we're back to showers and thunderstorms, but it's only when the trough is in the area. I'll take you through day by day what that means for southeast Queensland and into eastern New South Wales as well. Here we have a little bit of a preview of the mapping that we're working on. So here is a cyclone over in the northwest there. I'll just zoom right in on that one and you can see where we are. It doesn't have labels yet, but that's on its way. This is development. This is new stuff that's coming your way. So here we are, our category 5. This is likely to take it through about Port Hedland. So you can just see that in through there. This is the rain that's happening now and the track that it is likely to take. I'll just zoom back out. Having a look at huge falls there, 89. We had a 200 and something up in the top. We'll zoom back out, 202, lovely in 24 hours. We've also had a bit of activity here, but much less than what we have seen lately. So there's a bit of a relief for those northern parts of Queensland. In the southeast, we do still have thunderstorms moving through. They can bring incredibly heavy rain underneath if you are directly underneath, and we've now got a new storm warning that is here just west of Sydney. So that's what's passing through there. But I want to show you this speckled cloud that we have sitting over the bight in through here. Speckled clouds means that it is cold. This is usually something I talk about during winter when a cold outbreak is going to come, but today we are likely to see one of those. Let's just jump in and have a look at the rainfall total. So here were the huge falls in the last week over these parts of Queensland. So in the north, you can see there was literally a line that ran right through. We didn't see any of that underneath it. All of the activity was to the north of that and across the top end. Now coming into the cyclone here, we have had activity in the east. So southeast Queensland has been fairly dry for this time of year, so taken a bit of a break. But eastern New South Wales has had plenty of activity. So has southeastern Victoria. So all of that was able to come in. That was moisture from the Tasman Sea and the Pacific as well. But there is a distinct line here between east and west. Western parts, incredibly dry, continuing completely incredibly dry. They have been missing out on the rain. It's all this area across southern Australia that is essentially Western Victoria, South Australia, all of southwestern WA. And much of Tasmania has also not had a lot of rain either. So we're looking for something to change that. We'll have a look at the guidance shortly. All right, let's look at day by day. Now, what is on this map here? We have got, let me just turn off the snow level thickness so that you can see it clearly. And let me just turn off the pressure. So here we have up in the top right, this is daily rain and this is for Friday. So I'm going to jump through time. We'll go Saturday, Sunday, etc. So there's our rainfall. There's the cyclone that's in there. Let's put the pressure on now so that you can see that. So there is our pressure. There is our low pressure system, the tropical cyclone, and that is by the end of today. So that is inland by the end of today, and then we'll move on its merry way. Here we have a trough that is running down in through here. That's by the end of today. So all of these areas are still yet to see those showers and thunderstorms move through. But I also want to point out high pressure system that is sitting here over the bight, and look at these. You kind of see it as a road, these isobars. It tells the wind where to go. And so this here, now winds travel in this direction around a high pressure system. They are coming up from a place that is well south of here. It is still cold. It is still very, very cold down here, Antarctica, and we're going to see a bit of the flavour of that coming up. And this is it in action. The speckled cloud means that it is cold air, and the wind direction, there's nothing in between us and Antarctica. It's coming straight up here. Let's show that in a different way. I'm going to add another layer here, which is all about how warm or cold the air is. This is a thing called thickness. Now, we have it in different colours for you. So when you've got the purples and the reds, that's when the heat is. You can see that's starting to be pushed out of the southeast. Finally, it's been weeks and weeks and weeks. Now that is moving on. Instead, we've got these light blues and then the proper blues that are coming in. So let's watch that by the end of tomorrow. But first of all, Let's turn that off. Here are our showers and thunderstorms today, all moving in here, hitting Sydney, but not quite making it to the coast in southeast Queensland or northeast New South Wales. More of an inland feature up there today. There is our cyclone over there. Let's push this back in here. Alrighty, so let's watch what happens tomorrow. We'll put the thickness back on. There we go. Okay, so here we are by the end of Saturday. High pressure here over the Bight. Direct southerly wind, so coming right up from that cold place south of here. You have got snow falling to 1,200 metres here in Tasmania. 1,500 metres here in the southern part of Victoria, just reaching the Alps there. And then 2,100 metres by the time we get up into the New South Wales parts there. That is cold for this time of year. We don't normally see that. It's not unheard of. We do generally, you can get snow in the Alps in Australia at any month of the year. And this is just an example of how we make that happen. It's a cold outbreak coming up. And what we need to do is have that high back to the west so that we can get that energy and that air to come up. Meanwhile, tomorrow, here we go. We're starting to see the heat come back down into the southwest, so that's something to keep an eye on. Here's the remains of the cyclone coming through, so it's taking a trip down in through here. We've got showers and storms all in these eastern parts, Queensland, New South Wales, clearing out of the southeast there, not reaching the west. And then this here is the cold outbreak. This one here, it is hail, not your summertime hail, but your wintry hail. There's tiny, tiny bits of ice, balls of ice that bounce when they reach the ground. It is alpine snow. It is cold and gusty showers passing through. You'll notice it hits the ranges and it does not spread any further inland. There's no tropical connection to this one. This is just a southern affair. So it's hitting Tasmania. It's hitting southern parts of Victoria. Because the high is here, it's only just brushing the southeast of South Australia. And it moves around the corner here and then doesn't come in. So this is a very southeastern focused system that does not spread inland. Here's our showers and storms associated with the trough. All right, moving into Sunday. This one starts to move away. We've still got a fair bit during the day, particularly in the southeast there. But look how quiet it is all along this east coast, even right up and through here, just the odd shower and storm, nothing much at all. Meanwhile, the remains of the cyclone heading down through Western Australia. Let's have a look at this pattern. Here's high pressure that is sitting here just under South Australia. There's another one that is over and through here, which is very strong. And this kink in the isobars is another cold front that is coming up. Let's have a look as we move into Monday. The cold front, not as strong as the last one, just clips Tasmania. But there's another little reinforcement of the cool air that will go across southeastern parts of the country because the main high that is driving it is back here. It's well to the southwest. So that means we're seeing the remains of it, so the rain from that cyclone, the remains of that moving down through the west. Not through the east, it's over in the west because of where this high pressure system is. Again, taking a big break in through here. We don't have a lot of heat. We've just got some mild air that is sitting over the southeast instead. Day after day after day. It was here from Saturday, Sunday, and Monday so far. Let's move into Tuesday. Very quiet in through here. That's just hitting Tasmania, just very brushing the coastal parts of Victoria there. But here is the remains of the cyclone, the rain that is falling all through the west because we've got our high pressure system through here. It's kind of, if you could spread that out, it's like a jelly bean high. You may have seen me do that on the news a bit. As soon as you get that moving in this sort of direction, you're capturing that rain that is just above it. And so it can be day after day after day that the rain affects that area, which is just to the north, but not anywhere else in the vicinity. All right, so here we have Tuesday. High pressure system back in through here. Cool air sitting over the southeast. Not much happening on the east coast. And it is a break from the heat for all of these parts in through here. Instead, heat is moving down and the rain is moving down into the southwest as well. Let's have a look at Wednesday. High pressure starting to move. It's not as far back. We've still got this rain that is coming in through here. We've got still a fair bit of a break for the eastern half, and we've still got our cool air that is lingering there. Moving into Thursday, next trough comes in. We start to get organised again. Showers and thunderstorms. The heat is over in the west. Here's the remains of all of that rain. Still, this is Thursday next week. So it's almost 5 days that it's been moving through there. So big rain system on the way for there. Not the huge falls that are happening up in the north, but some that is coming through. High pressure here by Thursday night is now over the southeast, over Tasmania. So that means we're going to start to see wet weather coming back into the coast because it pushes onshore winds in. And then let's go into Friday. There it is out over the Tasman Sea. That means that the warmth all in through here, you see the purples and the reds, that coming down, that is heat from the interior that is starting to come back down again because the high no longer back over to the west, it is now out to the east. Right, so high pressure here, showers and storms out ahead of the trough, showers and storms out ahead of the trough, warmer air coming through. Back into next Saturday, heat back into Victoria, right across South Australia, coming into New South Wales. High pressure out here, coastal activity. Here is the remains of whatever this is, that is the remains of the cyclone. Will that reach South Australia starting to, as you're going to Saturday? We can go into Sunday here, South Australia, maybe into the western parts of Victoria. This is more than a week away, so it's very low confidence in this. All of this area in through here that has been incredibly dry, we've got high confidence that it's going to reach the southwest, but will it still be going by the time a week and a couple of days from now, it can finally push it over here? By the time we get there, my gut tells me this will have fallen away and the connection to the tropics will have been gone. So this is something that might happen, but I certainly wouldn't put all of my eggs in that one basket on it happening yet. Something to watch, definitely. And this low that is up and through here, also definitely something to watch. Okay, so that's where we are. Let's look at the total for all of this. I'll turn this one off and this one off. Big falls from the cyclone as it comes through here, 200, 300. It quickly drops off as we move inland and it loses that source of moisture. But this is where it's likely to go. So big falls, 25 to 50 down in through here. By the time we reach the southwest, it's more around the 10 to 15 to 20 sort of mark. We might get some falls of 25 to 50. So not the huge falls of that, but it is something. We haven't had a lot of rain over in that area, which you don't expect at this time of year. So this is a bit of a change for what is happening in southwest parts of the country. Over the east, we have this activity here, but it's nothing significant. Up in the north, nothing significant. This is over the course of 10 days. So we're taking a nice little break for these parts here. These parts might get that system. Let's just move back in time. Let me go back to here, and go total again. So this is by next Friday. There is hardly anything through these areas if that system doesn't make it over. Okay, what is causing our weather? Let's have a look at the Madden-Julian oscillation, the MJO. This is a pulse of energy that travels around the tropics. When it's in the Australian region, the green zone, that enhances our connection to tropical activity. It has been here for a very long time. Queensland, northern parts have certainly felt that. The top end has certainly felt that, and now we're seeing the effects of that in the west as well with the cyclone that has developed. So that has been here. It is at the very end of its stay. It is moving out, and it's about to move into the brown zone. Now, the brown zone, that is the other side of the globe, and it likes to suppress the activity that we have here in Australia. We can still get stuff. This is just one driver of it, but this one driver says, no, we don't want to have it. We want to reduce the amount of activity that is happening over the tropics in the Australian region. So that is where we are heading next. So very different to where we have been. Let's have a look at SAM, Southern Annular Mode. This is a thing that affects the south. When we have it dipping down into the bottom green zone, that's when stronger cold fronts can come up. It doesn't tell you where they're going to hit, but just that we have a bit more energy to enable that to happen. This one here, that hit the southwest and put them into a bit of a cooler stretch. This one here is likely to hit the southeast. We've seen it on the maps. We've seen the cold speckled air there. This is coming up to enable us to get that cool outbreak moving across the southeast. And then, as always, it goes into a neutral forecast. Let's have a look at the weeks ahead. So this is from the Euro model. This is for next week. It's Monday the 17th of February, so that week, next week. And this shows us rain, and it shows us that we are taking a break all in through here. It shows that the cyclone is putting it down into the southwest, but that it is not likely to move eastwards in terms of in a big way. So all of this is a suppression of wet weather at this time of year. So that's what the Euro is saying for that one. Let's have a look at what the Bureau is saying for that one. It doesn't have many of the greens here. It does have some of the greens in through here. So very different guidance from the two models. It's got a large area that doesn't have a lot of wet weather on it. Very different from this one into this one. All right, let's have a look now at temperature. Back to the Euro model. This is next week. That's a lot of blue that is on this map. Now, before this, we had a lot of blue that was over the top because of all of the rain and the cloud that was there. We had a lot of red that was over these areas. Shaking up the pattern, now we've got cold blues coming into the southeast, so it is an extended period of below average temperatures moving into here. We've also got this down in here because we've got the remains of the cyclone. That's cloud, that is rain, that is going to make it cooler than average. But there is still some heat that is in the interior. It hasn't gone away. We've just pushed it inland for now, but it is still there. As soon as the winds turn northerly again, it'll push it back down. So we just need that pattern. And what was that? It was the high pressure system jumping out to the east. All of that hot air is still there and it will come straight back down. But for the moment, we've got our reprieve, which is extended period of time because the high is sitting back over the bight for at least several days in a row. All right. That's our temperature. Having a look at what the Bureau thinks about that. So it's got unusually high maximums in through here, which is interesting, considering that we've got the remains of the cyclone and all of that rain coming in there. I wouldn't trust what that one is saying. We've also got the chance of unusually cold days, and this does make sense. So having all of that cold air that has settled over the southeast, this one is looking correct. All right, let's move into nights and nights. All right, let's go into week 2. So we'll go to Monday, the 24th of February. So this is the second week. And that's a lot of brown that is over the country. We've lost that tropical connection. So we're not having an increase in moisture, an increase in opportunity. And so that would indicate that you expect a brown map out of that one. That sounds a bit weird. But all through these areas, it is looking at being drier than average for this time of year. Okay, having a look at what we'll move into this one. This one has got a fair bit of brown on it too. It's got some greens in through here, which is interesting. Now, this model, as always, is old. They take a long time to update it. They did have the remains of the cyclone actually moving into the southeast. That was about Wednesday, Thursday. Well, this is the next week. So interesting that they do have this here. I would not be putting a lot of confidence in that green moving over the southeast. But they do have a lot of brown across the rest of the country. Okay, let's move into temperatures. So moving on to the next week, the heat is back. So we're back on the Euro model now. We've got wet weather activity happening here, which will probably keep that cooler than average, but a lot of the country is likely to step back up in that heat. We know as soon as the high moves in or that heat was over the interior, it is going to come back down. So we've only got a 1 week reprieve from that. All right, having a look at what these guys think, and yes, they have got warm conditions across the majority of the country. In terms of unusually low maximums, no blue there at all. And nights, warm and not cool. Okay, so let's move into March. So this is from the Bureau's output here. Again, a couple of days old. So it was issued yesterday, but the actual model run was back on the 10th. It has got green across much of the country. It's got it coming down into these very dry areas here. Let's see. This is the nicest way of putting that. It's warm. It is warm. All right, moving into second month, which is April. It's got the browns back in through here. So do keep that in mind, and I'll show you one of the reasons why that is happening shortly. It's got enhanced wet weather for the east coast here. It's got enhanced wet weather up the top. So that is for April. Warm, it is warm. And moving into the seasonal outlook, which is March through to May, it has got greens across much of it, but more of a 50-50 in through here. Greens in through here, 50-50 down in the southwest coast there. All right, let's have a look at our sea surface temperature anomaly. How much warmer or cooler the top of the ocean is. We have a look at what's happening around Australia. We've got this one here. A cyclone moved across here. That naturally makes the waters underneath it cooler. So that is just generally just a blip. It's where the cyclone moved, and that may recover. Otherwise, lots of warm water in through there. In the coming days, that is going to turn cool too, because we've had this next cyclone that's just off the coast there that will be making the water underneath it cooler. So expect a bit of bit of up and down in that part there. But otherwise, generally, we have a fair bit of warm water around Australia. Having a look at our boxes, let's start with the Pacific first of all. Here is the La Nina that we are currently in. Blue out here, orange out through there, warm here, cool out there. Warm water that encourages the moisture to rise into the atmosphere. It's for us, not for them. So when we have the warm water, we're likely to get more of the wet weather. It's telling us what the moisture is doing, but there's one other part, one essential part of that equation, and it is where the weather pattern pushes it. We saw it being pushed across the top. We're seeing it being pushed down into the southwest. We've seen it being pushed into the eastern parts of the east, but we're not seeing it pushed into these parts yet. So the weather pattern has access to moisture, but if you're from Melbourne over to Adelaide, we're not seeing the weather systems enable that to come to us at this stage. All right, over here, different. We've got all of this blue that has appeared out through here. We've got a lot more yellow that is in the box. So this is potentially a bit of a shift in what is happening in this ocean. This we know is local and associated with cyclones moving in. This one here might be more representative of a big pattern shift. Let's take a look. First of all, we'll start with the Pacific. Here we are in our La Nina, perhaps sort of nearing the end of that. The USA has a different threshold. Their threshold is about here where my mouse is. So we're still definitely in it for that. But what this is saying is we're about to come out of it, as you would expect at this particular time of the year. This suggests going back to neutral, staying in neutral, but going on that positive side as we go through winter next year. Not across the threshold, but on the positive side. So that is something to keep in mind, that the next year may not be as similar as this one here. Let's have a look at the Indian Ocean. Now this is, I've got more confidence in this one at this stage. Now we've got this big jump up, which we saw because of what that box did, and the blue that is appearing over on the eastern side near Indonesia. So that makes sense. We've got this coming down through here. It has got it going down here. If that crosses the threshold, that's a negative Indian Ocean dipole. Negative Indian Ocean dipole, if you're in southern Australia, those words should prick your ears up because it means juicy northwest cloud bands, all of that moisture from the north being funneled down into the south when our weather systems come through. So this is particularly important to us in April, in autumn, and also in winter, and definitely in spring. Over summer, not so much because we've got high pressure ridges sitting there making it harder to get that moisture come in. But as soon as we flick into autumn, looking ahead to the autumn break, where are we here? We have got this still up in the neutral zone and nowhere near here. So this would tell me that the northwest, in terms of turning on the tap for us as we go through autumn, it is less likely. However, as we go into winter, this is the very end of the forecast though, so very low confidence, that may be coming closer to us and increasing that tap turning onedness. Where is that going to go as we go through spring? Is it going to keep diving? That is a big question. So this is something to watch. Okay, let's whip around the country and have a look at what all of that is going to do to just our capitals as we move around. All right, starting in Brisbane here, we're about 30 today, 0.7 millimetres, nothing really exciting. 40, 60% at one point. They're just light showers moving through that don't deliver very much. All right, head into Saturday, that's when things get interesting in southeast Queensland. We've got shower and storm activity. These ones have a bit of a pulse during the middle of the day, and then most of it is later on. But yes, that is our core. In terms of southeast Queensland tomorrow, showers and storms are likely. Hit and miss. You may miss out, but today there's nothing. Tomorrow there'll be lots. Let's put it that way. Having a look at Sunday, dries up, heats up, moving back up to 33. And then next week, not much coming at all. Have a look at these numbers here. Hardly anything, just a little bit from an onshore flow there. But look at these temperatures. There is nothing overly hot in southeast Queensland. The cold outbreak is making it all the way up to the southern parts of Queensland. Okay, and even the overnight lows, they aren't as warm. All right, let's have a look at Sydney. Big day is today. So showers and storms, might be a pulse here, might be a pulse as we move into the night. So afternoon and then again another one coming through. we've got 3 to 47 millimetres. So this one, the purple one, is the USA model. That likes a lot of rain, particularly in the middle of the afternoon from a storm if you are directly underneath it. That's 29. Moving into Saturday, 26. Have a look at these numbers. Clear. Sunday, it's just, there's not a lot of wet weather, but 22. So that is the cold air making it all the way up to Sydney, and that's really arriving with vengeance on Sunday. Monday, 23, Tuesday, 24. There is nothing warm in that outlook until much later on. So a quiet week in Sydney, that is below average. Heading into Melbourne, we had the heat yesterday. The cool change came through. Now we're sort of in the middle before the next one arrives. Here we go, late afternoon into the evening. That's when showers are likely to be pushing through. Today's the midday. It's in the low 20s. Have a look what's coming this weekend. Snow up on the Alps, and this is what we've got here. 17 is likely to be the top for Saturday, and 18 is the top for Sunday. So we're going to feel this. And also, that's 17, but it feels like 10 thanks to that wind chill. So I can't stress this enough. You're going to feel a little bit chilly this weekend. There are showers all from Saturday afternoon right through to about Sunday morning. So it is cold, wet, and it is a little bit gusty, particularly on Saturday as the next front comes in. Next week, it takes days to recover. So we're 20, maybe 22. And then as we move to Friday, that's when the high moves out to the east. So temperatures jump up once again. All right, having a look at Adelaide. Here we go, 23, 21, 23, 27s. There is nothing exciting in terms of heat here. There is nothing exciting in terms of wet weather here either, just sort of sitting in the middle, got the effects of the cold outbreak that's moving across the southeast, but not seeing the effects of the rain that is coming from that cyclone until maybe at the very end of next week. Having a look at Perth, however, let's expand this one out. Looking at temperatures first of all. 32, 34, 34, 35, so not like the 43 that it was the other day. We don't have a lot of wet weather until next week. Now, most of that rain map, let's bring that one back up through here. It had it moving through these parts here. So it's definitely got it to the north and it's gone in through these parts. Let's just zoom right in on this one. So maybe the coast part here doesn't see as much, 1 to 5 millimetres in total, but it's these parts here that pick up the better falls from this system coming in. The timing of that has it here arriving sort of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday as that is coming through. So that's what we're looking at in the southwest, better falls away from Perth itself. Just because we've got snow in the outlook, it's Alpine, it's the middle of February, that's an interesting thing to have a look at. Here is our snow page, you can access it just in through here, and 0 to 3, 0.6 to 6 for Mount Baw. That makes sense, it's only coming up really to the southern parts. 0 to 1.4. Tasmania, looks like Ben Lomond is likely to be the winner from this system. So let's unpack this. We'll go to our advanced snow forecast. If you are a subscriber, you can access this here. We'll pick this one out. So this is all the different guidance. So if you want to take a bit of a deep dive into what's happening, here is the day. It is Saturday. So the USA model has got 9 centimetres of snow. Canada 1, 3 on Australia, 4 on Europe. So the consensus, as in the straight average of all of those, is coming as 4.4. Our AI forecast has 4.9, so it must have it dipping below 0 earlier. Let's have a look at this in action. So you may also notice that we've had a bit of a speed up. Instead of 12 seconds, it is now 8 seconds, and it just gets to the middle of, oh, this is going to make a liar out of me, isn't it? It's now generally 8 seconds to move it through. Okay, let's have a look on Saturday. We've got that expanded out. Now, this one, the purple one here, just to show you which that is USA model. That has it dipping below 0 here in the morning. Now, that's not overly likely. So the 9 centimetres that they had, that includes this bit in through here. That's more likely to be rain. We've got rain coming through these hours here, but late afternoon, 4, 5 p.m., that's when it's likely to dip below 0. So all of this in through here, several hours of snow falling on the Alps there and continuing just in light terms into the early hours of the morning. Cool, just something exciting to show you there. That's it from me this week. I will see you next Friday with more weather for you. But as always, head to janesweather.com, have a look at what's happening now, have a look at your next 10-day forecast, have a look at those long-range maps that I go through, have a look at the rainfall maps, and then also snow if you're interested. See you next week.